later on. Now, Kenyans living in countries where vehicles are left-handed driven will from November be able to enjoy a duty waiver that has been benefiting those living in nations with right-hand vehicles. President Uhuru Kenyatta announced this when he met Kenyans living in the U.S. state of New York at a reception on Thursday night. President Kenyatta had in August made a pledge that the government would facilitate the arrangement, but it was delayed because such arrangements concerning importations of vehicles have to be done in consultation with the East African community. President Kenyatta said the consultations with the EAC will be held in January next year, but a temporary arrangement has been made, which is set to begin in November. Under the program, those who live in countries like the U.S., where vehicles are left-handed, will be allowed to import a right-hand vehicle of similar value duty-free.
Anybody who is a returning resident will be able to uza ile gari yako naye, anunue gari ingine, lakini sio ati useme, anyway nitakuja hapo, ununue gari ingine ile ya right hand ambayo utapeleka nyumbani, yeah? So from November that will be in play and there will be nobody stopped from sending their vehicle home.
It was an honor for me to speak on behalf of Kenyan women and children today. I also want to say that I thank the diaspora, not just here in New York, but actually throughout the world, the way they have supported my Beyond Zero campaign and continue supporting, because you're doing it for your brothers and sisters. Thank you very much.
United Nations Secretary General Ban Ki-moon has today announced the appointment of Carol Wainaina, a Kenyan, as Assistant UN Secretary General in charge of Human Resource Management. Wainaina will replace Catherine Pollard, who has been appointed Assistant Secretary General for the UN General Assembly and Conference Management. In a statement on the UN site, Ban Ki-moon says Wainaina brings with her a wealth of global experience at various senior leadership levels, including human resources strategy, leadership development, change management, and driving organizational transformation. Before the appointment, she worked at the Coca-Cola Company as Group Human Resource Director, Europe, and held various progressively responsible positions, including stints at Coca-Cola based in Turkey, the US, United Kingdom, and Kenya. She has a Bachelor of Business degree from the University of Southern Queensland in Australia, majoring in Human Resource Management and Marketing. Great feat for Kenyans there. Congratulations to Carol Wainaina. Now, Deputy President William Ruto's lawyer in the ongoing ICC trial is at this hour cross-examining the 24th witness, seeking to prove that the prosecution didn't bother to verify facts before dragging Ruto to court. David Hooper's line of questioning seeks to reveal that the prosecution failed to check the veracity of witness accounts. The witness admitted to lying to investigators even about where he lived. Earlier, there was a legal argument on whether the prosecution should be allowed to use prior testimony of forced witnesses. Defense lawyers argued that although the rules of evidence and procedure on the subject were amended by the Assembly of States, they shouldn't be applied in the ongoing cases because the law does not work in retrospect.
At the time that you made this statement, was it your intention to come to court before the judges to repeat those lies?
Nilikuja na nia ya kusema ukweli.
You make a statement and you tell lies in the statement. Now I'm asking you about the time when you wrote the statement back in November of 2012. Was it your intention to indeed be a witness or not?
Nia yangu vile nilikuwa nimesema ni
have the benefits that had been promised to me, but I did not know that I was going to come here to be a witness.
Did the prosecution investigators ever, for example, come to Turbo or to where you claim to?
20 senior CID commanders have been moved in a reshuffle announced by CID Director Ndegwa Muhoro. Among those moved is Assistant Commissioner of Police Tom Omani, who was named the new commandant of CID Training School in Nairobi. Senior Assistant Commissioner of Police Mary Auma has been moved from Baringo County and named the new Kenya Railway CID boss, while Railway CID boss Judy Ndeda has been moved to Narok County in the same capacity. Narok County CID Commander Lydia Ligami moves to CID Headquarters Investigation Section, where she will head the newly created International Crimes Division. Kirinyaga County CID Commander Julius Rutere is the new Uasin Gishu County CID Commander. Migori County CID boss Violet Mahanu has been moved to Training Section at CID Headquarters. And head of training at CID Headquarters, Sospita Munyi, is the new Migori County CID Commander, while the new Kirinyaga CID Commander is George Lisaka. Laikipia County CID boss Abdallah Komesha moves to CID Headquarters to head the Personnel Section, while John Momanyi is the new CID Commander for Baringo County. Isaac Musyoki has been named the new Laikipia County CID Commander. The drought situation in Mandera is getting dire by the day and has now pushed the county government to appeal to the national government and the donor community to come to its aid. Governor Ali Roba says the recent tribal conflicts exacerbated the situation and the county's planned drought response mechanism is unable to cope with the situation any longer.
A biting drought has hit on Mandera and the situation seems to be getting worse by the day. Water points in the vast county in the northern Kenya frontier region bordering Somalia and Ethiopia are now few and far between.
We've carried out massive water tracking from November last year until now. The situation right now has gotten to the extremes. We've started receiving cases of reported livestock death in Lafe and some parts of Mandera West, Mandera South.
2 rainy seasons have apparently failed. Mandera's only hope now is the rains expected in about another 1 month. But will the people and the animals manage to survive that long to get food and water again?
1 month in this drought situation is a very long time. We like to really appeal with extreme sense of urgency if an emergency drought response support can be received.
The county government claims it invested heavily to try to ensure the severity of the drought situation was mitigated since November until now.
Our planned drought response mechanism has been interrupted with another desperate situation that has come up. Right now, the inter-clan conflict, thanks to God, is subsiding.
It's very much urgent, and we want the Ministry of Devolution to look into this so that people, at least the lives of the people, and to be able to be assisted with immediate effect, because there have been a lot of conflict in the county and so people are mainly displaced.
We want to appeal so that we do not start responding when we start seeing mass livestock death and human death.
Mandera is a county that is now struggling to forge ahead after a bloody conflict that left more than 50 people dead. The drought has further worsened the already deteriorating humanitarian situation on the ground. Sylvia Chebet, Citizen Live at 1.
Now, for many people, finding fish rotting by the roadside only means one thing, or one of many. The fish was dumped there by a passerby in clear violation of environmental regulations. Some see it as a sign of plain bad manners and nothing more, but apparently residents of Kabartonjo in Baringo North appeared baffled, even shocked, by the sight of a rotting mudfish dumped by the roadside. A number of them expressed fear about the intentions of the person who dumped the fish there. The rotting fish attracted the curiosity of area residents who expressed a number of theories on what could have seen it dumped there. It appears that the residents are yet to find the answer to what exactly that was.
Katika mji hakuna maji, hakuna chochote, na imekuwa ni mashangao kwa wananchi wa Kabakonjo, Baringo Road. Kushtuka ni kama uchawi ama ni nini? Kama hii
Tension is high in Kagwe village in Lari in Kiambu County after a 14-year-old boy was brutally murdered by unknown people. The body of Christopher Njoroge, who was a Class 8 candidate at a local school, was discovered at a Napier grass plantation. Locals led by the chairman of the area's Nyumbakumi initiative, Karanja Mbogwa, have vowed to pursue the matter to the end, and they called on the security agencies in the area to beef up patrols to boost the war on crime.
Hapa kuna siasa kidogo kwa sababu assistant chief alikuwa ni kijana wa dada, huyu ni kijana wa dada ya assistant chief wa area hii. Na ni kijana anajulikana kwa kupigana na uhalifu, amepigana na bangi area hii mpaka amemaliza. Amepigania hata wakulima ya majani chai. Juzi alifanya mkutano haujawahi fanyika, a public baraza on tea, na akapewa vitisho na tukajua. Kwa hivyo tunataka serikali ikuje haraka kabla sisi kama wananchi hatujachukua hatua.
A tragedy indeed. Now, an 8-month-old infant has been found dumped at a garbage site in Garissa County. The remains of the baby, who appeared to have been strangled, found wrapped in a green paper bag and thrown at a dump site. Locals say it wasn't easy to tell just when the body of the murdered baby was dumped, but the discovery was made by a passerby after he noticed a group of dogs pulling a part of a limb resembling that of a human being and called the police. Police arrived and took away the body and arrested one suspect who was said to have been pacing around the dump site before the baby was later discovered. Police are investigating the incident.
Sasa mnamnyonga mtu wa miezi 9, amemtoa kwenye, hata si miezi 8 tuseme, amemtoa kwenye tumbo. Hiyo ni haki kweli? Si haki, anafaa kuzaliwa na mpatie haki yake. Kwa hivyo si mzuri, na wale ambao wengine wanaona hapa sasa wananiona, wakae kujua wazae watoto na wapate haki yao. Kuna watu hata wakitaka wanaweza patiana watu kwa watoto ambao watawalisha kuliko kutupa. Sasa kutupa ndio haki, kunyonga mtoto shamzaa si haki.
Another tragic story there. So important to protect the rights of our children in this country. Now, it's estimated that 2 out of every 10 couples are infertile. However, recent medical breakthroughs have saved childless couples the pain of living without children. Here in Kenya, test tube technology has led to the birth of 500 babies. And as Sylvia Chebet reports, a proposed law in Parliament will, when enacted, help regulate this increasingly important sphere.
The science of making babies under the microscope has helped millions of couples declared infertile to also have children. For at least 2 out of every 10 couples, this medical procedure known as in vitro fertilization, abbreviated as IVF, also commonly referred to as the test tube technology, is their only chance at conception.
Loosely, because of the use of laboratory, it has been referred to since its inception about 5 years ago as the test tube baby, to connote that the fertilization occurs externally and within a laboratory situation.
Several factors lead to infertility, including lack of sperms or a low sperm count in men. Abnormal sperms too, some with double heads or tails, lacking tails or dead sperms, make some men unable to sire children. In women, lack of eggs or infections in the fallopian tubes, ovaries or uterus, such as fibroids, cause infertility.
Age is also an important factor. I think people are reading, for example, too much or pursuing career goals and forgetting the reproductive goals. Then naturally age is one of the factors that reduce fertility. Right? In women, the eggs that you're born with are a counted number, and as you ovulate, the efficiency of ovulation, both in terms of numbers and in terms of the quality of the eggs, tends to get reduced or get worse, all right, with time. And after that 5, all right, then the risk of having infertility is high based on this alone.
Couples who lack either eggs or sperms benefit from donors.
Just like blood donation, you can solicit for donors.
An egg is not a baby, sperm is not a baby. And you need an egg and sperm to make an embryo. It is like someone saying, who has unga, saying that is my ugali. You need water and unga, water and flour to make ugali.
The donors are available. Usually get educated people. It's not a trade, but they will give just the way you have blood donors. We do not trade with that.
Since the birth of Louise Brown, now a mother herself 36 years ago, an estimated 4 million more babies have been conceived through the IVF technology. In Kenya, about 500 babies have been born this way to eager parents who had been labeled infertile.
These children born out of IVF are just normal children.
The theater is where we get the eggs.
It's a process that involves the removal of an egg from a woman and fertilizing it with her husband's sperms. Then when the embryo forms, it's reinserted back into the woman's womb. Professor Koigi Kamau, a professor in the obstetrics and gynecology department at the University of Nairobi and the director of the Nairobi Infertility Clinic, says inside the petri dish, the natural process of conception is simulated.
The egg is relatively big, like 1,000 times bigger than the sperm, which is very, very, very small.
Oh.
So it is pushed into through the eggshell, all right, into the cytoplasm of the egg, and then they are left to do their thing, and then of course fertilization will occur if both of them are good, if they are compatible.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and that is checked.
The eggshell is thick?
Yeah.
It's thick?
The egg?
The eggshell.
The eggshell is thick, yes. And the sperm, under normal circumstances, has to penetrate that. There are something called acrosome with enzymes that eat. The winning sperm penetrates the eggshell.
At least 3 embryos are placed in the womb for implantation, where a baby, twins or triplets are achieved. Sometimes, though, no baby is achieved, and the process may have to be repeated. The rest of the embryos and sperms are usually stored in liquid nitrogen at -197 degrees. This procedure costs between 300,000 to 500,000 shillings in Kenya. Couples who have difficulty conceiving surmount this cost, if only to have a baby or babies. Sylvia Chebet, Citizen Live at 1.
It's great to see that progressive technology coming closer home. Well, you're watching Citizen Live at 1. Stay with us. We're back after the break.